start tonight's meeting. The first item on the agenda is a continued site plan review for 1 Smith Road. Maybe we can bump this down since they are not here and see if they arrive.
Yep.
Or no?
I spoke with them 10 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
telling them, reminding them of this meeting.
Which they agreed to this date. right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
I've had no emails to continue either, or no correspondence.
And when did you receive
He wanted to even
the-
appear at the last meeting when we told him.
Correct, and that's when I told him, no, you can't do that. We can't talk with you because we've continued it to this meeting, and gave him the date, and he responded and said, that's fine.
Well, let's just bump it up until,
We have this stuff.
Have stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
And
we
we
have-
have
Okay.
response by TTC as well.
Yeah, I have all my comment letters. We did receive all information for the project by the date you set of the 20th of our last meeting. I'm a bit miffed.
I'm really surprised.
We will set this aside for some time and go through other things, and if they're not here, then we will proceed accordingly. Okay, we do have a public hearing for proposed zoning changes to our sign regulations. Have we received any comments on this? Or-
No, I
Question.
haven't received any comments from the public.
Okay. In your packet, this was changing the size of the signs. We wound up not, I think we had talked about lights, we wound up not including anything about that. Does anybody have any?
Just to refresh my memory, what was it originally? What are we proposing to change it to? It just slipped my memory.
Yeah, I feel like we should probably have this as a strikeout to show what changed.
We're actually granting folks more leeway with signage
Larger. yeah.
overall. And also requiring that their signage, if it's out on the street, includes their street address.
Right, I do remember.
But the
that.
street address information doesn't consume the allowed sign space.
Mhm.
So if they're allowed 400 feet of signage, and with the address is 200 square feet, that 200 square feet isn't counted against the overall.
It's not, okay,
Because we're really having them do that for public safety
Right.
for the town.
right, makes sense.
you know, page 28, is our existing ordinance, and then the existing one allows for a half a square foot of signage per lineal foot of building. So we're actually doubling that from a half square foot per lineal foot to 1 square foot per lineal foot. And then the next one is 120 square feet in the commercial zone. And that stands currently and has for the last 35 years at 75 feet per 75 square feet per sign. You know, as we've discussed, the businesses along 125, which the town's trying to promote, are larger operations, with the need for greater visibility. And then that's in conjunction with having their street address attached to the sign. And as far as the industrial zone goes, let's see if I can find that one. I think that was basically the same sort
I
of.
did put the original ones up on the screen for you.
Oh, fantastic, thank you, Mark. Okay. So it was 75. Got it.
I mean, this whole conversation really came about when viewing Tractor Supply and the garden center sign that they wanted to put up. And kind of inspired this conversation about commercial signage and where do you think that signage should be, and as far as size and scope?
It seemed a bit restrictive.
Yeah.
And considering if it's going to be building mounted, it's gonna be 125 feet off at a road where you're going 50 miles an hour.
Right.
Or faster.
Your
You
microphone,
may
sir.
indeed, you may indeed
Thank you.
miss some signage,
You're right, yeah.
even if you're looking for it.
Right, right. Especially with the, if the lights are out at night.
I have noticed lately more temporary signs.
Yes.
In the right of way, kind of popping up here and there.
Mm-hmm. Chuck and I took a ride and had them take most of them down, but
Okay.
in your regulations, it says you may apply for a temporary sign permit.
Yeah.
And you can do that twice a year, 30 days apiece.
Through the Board of Selectmen.
But it says no sign should be in the right of way.
Chuck had, that was a conversation I had with Chuck. I didn't sign any permit or endorse any permit.
No, I
He
I
took,
think the temporaries are done through the Board of Selectmen.
okay, I did read that today in our zoning
Yeah,
ordinance. and
I
will-
don't recall anyone ever being applied for or granted, as far as the temporary permits go. I mean, not in the last decade, certainly. I haven't been aware of any request for that. As
I
far as
know
the
of
right of
one.
way goes, along 125, 27, that's all state jurisdiction. The state's usually pretty efficient at removing any sign, temporary or not, within their right of way, but that is their land.
I know of one that did apply for the temporary sign. I can follow up with you on Monday if you wish.
That's okay. It just sounds like you guys are on top of it. So.
I think this is great, having worked in retail for many, many years and opened up many stores. I mean, this is a real win for the retail establishments in any business.
It's a positive move.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll spur more businesses to want to come here, you know? Who knows?
I think we talked too about leveling the playing field because some people kind of had grandfathered things. You know, they're close to the road.
We also talked about illumination of the light, I mean, the sign itself and how late that should be, but I think we backed away from that.
We
felt-
took that out because we did have comments
I just
about
wanna-
that. Yeah.
Bring that up.
But we do have, you know, our current ordinance says that things shouldn't be flashing and
Correct.
circulating and all of that. Anything else?
No, so if we can advance this to a public hearing, well, this is a public
This is
hearing.
a
The public
So,
hearing.
If there are
no
no
changes, we can
What you
go
do
on
is,
to put it on the, vote to put it on this ballot in March, the March ballot. And then this will be posted, Mark, you may have already done this, this proposed change probably is on the planning board website for anybody that may be listening that wanted to read.
It is posted as such as a public hearing. There was a notice placed out in front of the town office. There is a notice with the language at the library, and it is on our website
Good.
under legal notices.
Will that stay up?
No, after this hearing, they will come down.
Oh, yeah, legal notices, but as far as the text of the proposed
could-
changes, the voters will be voting on in March.
I think it's wise for us to have the text for all of our proposals
Yeah.
available on the
I
website.
think we should have a strikeout version too, so that people can see what it was and what we're changing it to.
Well, that's a good idea.
So, if you need,
I can make that document, yes.
okay, if you need help.
I would love to see all these zoning amendment changes posted in the Brentwood newsletter. But I think it would be the Brentwood newsletter in its entirety
Yeah,
if we were to give the legislation as it stands now and how we'd like to amend it. I'm not sure what the best course of action is there.
Would the newsletter maybe print like a QR code or something to link to?
Or a special insert? Like if, I know we don't have the money, but hypothetically, if.
I think postage is the biggest
Help fund
concern
it.
that they have, the cost of the postage to put a big, pamphlet. you know.
Yeah, that's
But
why I
sure.
brought up the QR code, because I don't think that would add any expense on their end.
In very little space.
Right, very little space.
The
Um,
risk is the contingent who's like, what is this?
Right,
And
that's
ignores
true, yeah.
it.
Well,
you could write out the.
Yeah, we could have both. We could have the QR
URL
code and
and-
write out the link.
Brentwood.
Who will create this?
A QR code?
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Resume.
I think there's probably free websites.
QR code
Yeah, I
store.
can look
Mine
into
too.
it.
It's pretty straightforward, but I think, I haven't looked closely at the budget you sent, but I think we have some money left for another article. So we could also ask Resilience to do that.
I believe the figure we were up to was 59, maybe it was 58, 8, 58.
Okay, maybe not.
9. That's why I sent that document, document out to
Yeah.
you, so we all are on the same page as far as where we are with our grant. I believe the final grant amount is 65,000. So we do have some wiggle room there, and I also sent out the document that spells out each
You
individual
got that, that was actually.
area that things are supposed to be spent in. Now, I have been inquiring to the status of the checks coming in from the state, and I've been given some documentation that I need to filter through. We have received more than what's in the file that you'll see now, but I'm still waiting for other documentation to come through. So, and I've also inquired about a better system to keep track of that. When those checks come in, they should be forwarded to my office. So we're trying to work on a better system for that. So, but I will get that information forthcoming to you.
All right, so let's vote on this, and then Mark, you'll make a strikeout version of it that we can post on the website.
I just have one more question.
Yeah.
On this QR code, what is the cost of something like that? Does anybody have any idea?
Free.
Negligible.
There are several websites that have like free QR code generators.
I'm
That
sure that
makes
I
the
have
link-
done that before.
Yeah.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
the trick is the QR code, what the QR code is going to do is divert you right to the Town of Brentwood's website.
right.
But this information needs to be displayed on the
On
website
the website.
to link the
okay.
QR code to.
I got it.
I know just enough to be dangerous, but how to create that link, I'm not 100% sure.
And the only reason I'm familiar with it is I went into a restaurant and that's how you ordered.
That's how you, yeah, right.
2 hours later, I said, don't you have french fries?
I can help you on that.
I'll make a motion that we advance the proposed amendments to the Brentwood sign regulations as a warrant article to town meeting.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. 7:15, we'll keep going. So 2025 warrant article. So, as I said to Bruce, hindsight is 20/20 and all that. So last year, at my suggestion, we took $8,500 out of our budget and asked the town if we could create a fund so that in a few years we could work on our master plan all at once rather than doing it piecemeal.
Right.
Well, now that money's out of our budget and we have to go back and ask for it now each year. And now there's a tax cap, so I don't know how that works in terms of what was
Well, so
It was appropriated last year, right?
with funds.
From the unreserved fund balance.
Yeah, because we had it in our budget, but we had grants, so the money was already there.
if we have to override the tax cap for this, it will be a 3/5 vote.
Right.
Because
So-
the legislature changed the law after we adopted the tax cap. It was.
Hopefully somebody's challenging that in court because that just doesn't.
Well,
seem right.
well, I know that Representative Turner has proposed legislation to undo
Yeah.
that. I'm not optimistic that that'll happen, but it's, you know.
It just doesn't seem
He's
right.
gonna try. But from a legal standpoint, it does kind of seem like not just us, but other towns adopted a tax cap under a very different understanding. And I have heard from a few folks who voted for the tax cap who said that if it was their understanding at the time that it would require 3/5 majority, it might have impacted how they
Yeah.
voted.
I don't understand how they can change something after the fact that townspeople voted for, and then they can just say,
Does it matter that it came from the unreserved fund balance?
that's what I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to,
No,
I think it would.
it's left
Yeah.
pocket, right pocket. Well,
I think
it would to voters, but
Right. Because we look at it as no impact to our tax rate, even though it's
Uh-huh.
not able to pay it down, like we've done.
which is an impact to you.
I think
Right.
it does make a difference.
I mean, we're
Paul,
talking about $8,500. I don't see that as ultimately going to be causing.
Okay, well, we'll have to make the case. So that may be you with some combination of us.
I'd be happy to.
Okay, thanks. So
We're not going to put it
I'll-
all on you, but
Yeah.
but as chair of the
Um,
select board, it would be very helpful, of course.
So I'll
Put it all on me.
I'll rewrite this so that it's got the history that says, you know, last year people voted to create this fund. We're just continuing on, and ask, you know, reword what they need to vote on.
Well, I didn't do any of the background, but that's what the next page
Oh, okay. We rewrote the top.
is, just so that we're not talking about establishing the fund, because it's already been established.
Yeah.
And why is it a master plan expendable trust fund instead of a capital reserve fund? Why is it worded that way? Because the town has a number of capital reserve funds.
That's what we called it last year, but so where did this wording come from?
This master
From
plan
Julie?
expendable trust fund is what we did last year.
Well, we had master plan capital reserve fund on our warrant article.
This is what you passed and you gave me from last year.
Here's the,
So
here's the file.
I don't know how it was actually created.
and I think I looked back at the minutes from the meeting, and I think the minutes refer to it as a master plan expendable trust fund.
It could have been changed throughout the process. Sometimes that happens, and it might not have ended up backlogged in my file, but this is what I have as 2024 warrant article.
In the minutes, they refer to it as a master plan expendable trust fund.
In the town,
In the
Meeting minutes.
For the town.
so after it left us, it might have, like, that may be the legal
And that's
term
what,
for
and
it.
that, I don't know why though, because the town has a ton of capital reserve funds.
So
I
just,
don't know.
is that a
This-
name difference
This
without
page
any
is actually from the
significance?
town report.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So that's from the town report. That's what we voted on. That-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's in my
Yeah.
file.
But what we don't know is when they created the fund, what did they actually name it?
Yeah.
Really, they may have
So we'll
to
have to
change it
check
to
on
be
the-
what the townspeople voted for. But what's the real difference, Glenn, between the two?
I'm not sure.
Practically.
I mean, I'm very familiar with the actions of capital reserve fund. I don't have any idea about the mechanisms of something called an expendable trust fund. That sounds different than a capital reserve.
It does.
That
It does.
sounds like there are trustees to it,
Mm.
which a capital reserve fund does not have.
I do remember a conversation regarding that the planning board would be the trustees of those funds.
Well, they're the ones that are able to expend from the fund. And maybe that's why they
Yeah,
named it
So
that.
I think so.
it's our fund, not,
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
so I am not in any means trying to take away the ability for you to do something for the warrant, but we need to make sure we're calling it the right
that's the
thing.
right thing, yeah.
Clarification.
Okay.
Would that be a Julie question?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Julie
gonna
or
ask.
town council, whoever set it up.
Ambrose also is
Oh,
dealing with all
Ambrose
the,
might,
capital reserve funds, so you might have it,
Okay.
how it's.
Do we have any?
Because-
Do we have any connections there?
Because
So we're
I did
planning
notice
Ambrose, that's where we landed on.
Oh,
that last year at
100%.
town meeting, they grouped all the capital reserve fund things together in one warrant article
Mm.
and just listed them individually. And I don't know if that's better or worse, but if this is a different animal, then I understand why they did that.
Normally, we read the minutes of the last town meeting when we get our town report for the ensuing year. But the town clerk must have already produced those minutes.
Yeah, they're available on the town clerk
So
tab.
that would be the easiest. way
That's
to see
why
it.
I was able to find them so easily.
And that's what it says, is yeah. It makes sense that, I do remember the conversation that the fund would be managed by us, not the select board, so maybe that's how
Yeah,
it went that way.
It does say that we were named as agents to expend from said fund.
Yeah.
So Mark, can you check with Julie and or Ambrose about the technical term for that? And then, do we have to have a hearing
Yep.
on the warrant article, to put it
Ooh,
forward?
do you? Because the public hearing process.
It's not as,
It's not a
this isn't
zoning.
a zoning ordinance, so
Okay,
Mm.
do we have to hold one? Because he would know much.
He's
better
gonna
than
have
I.
to hold one, the
I-
select board's
I would
going to.
think so. The
yes.
Board of Selectmen would have to hold
Because
one.
not only that, it has to go before the budget committee as
Budget.
well. Because the budget committee can either endorse or approve, or, what's the word?
Or not recommend, either
Recommend or not,
not
thank you,
recommend,
thank you, yep. So
Right.
they'll have to review it as well.
Yeah.
okay.
Unless we want to do a warrant article with 25 valid signatures of townspeople, registered voters. Then
No.
Then the select board doesn't vote on it.
Yeah, that's separate.
They can still go to the budget committee.
I don't want to go get 20.
But it makes it seem like the town isn't involved then.
Yeah,
It makes it seem
Yeah,
like that's
this
being
is
just done by
We're-
citizens.
we are the
Yeah.
arm of the government.
That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's
let's,
disingenuous.
can we do this tonight? Can we vote
Yeah.
on,
Oh.
on whether to send this to the budget committee and the select board after Mark's checked the technical name of the fund? And I'll add the history, but I think the important part is the actual wording that will go on the warrant article. And then, I don't know what the deadline is, but we'll do that in the next week or so to make sure that we,
Budget committee
just select board.
requirement. I could be wrong about
Well, I know at town meeting, they will say the select board recommends.
that. Right, for the warrant.
Right.
And the budget, yeah.
I think there's a,
Yeah, 'cause I
yeah,
think
because
they-
the budget committee sits on the left and you guys sit on the right, and can remember, they do recommend.
They do. 'Cause-
They look
'cause
at the
you- 'cause- 'cause
impact.
Usually, somebody from the select board will speak to it, and somebody from BudCom typically speaks to it as well, if I am recalling
Yep.
correctly.
Mhm. Yeah, and sometimes they don't agree.
And in SB2 towns, because I used to live in an SB2 town way back when, it actually says on the ballot, the select board recommends passage of this by a vote of 5-0 or whatever, or so.
Okay.
So the first step is to submit this to the Board of Selectmen. Is that-
No, the first process would be to make sure the wording is correct with
Well,
Julie.
yes.
We
we're
figure
gonna
out
assume
what it is
that's-
we want to send to
That's
the
good,
Board of Selectmen.
right.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'll make a motion that once that verbiage is detailed, that we forward that along to the Board of Selectmen as written.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I can copy the budget chair on that. Send it to, okay. All right.
Before you leave this topic, can I
Mhm.
add something?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's more expensive than.
It's way more expensive. We have presently an RFP out for a new master plan for the town of Kingston. And we went out with a figure of 56,000. We've had one response, and the one response said, "You're about $25,000 short."
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've been talking, anytime it's been sort of a public discussion of around a $40,000 to $50,000
Yeah,
price tag, and it really
it's
isn't.
not gonna cut it.
It really isn't.
There is, and I'm forgetting the name of the organization right now, but that there's a regional organization that's had grant funds for things related to water, and they put out something on the grants that they gave out last year, and one of them was for a community to update one of their master plan chapters. So I think we could pursue that, and I think we'll probably have to look for grant funding to fill in some gaps, because in the current climate, I don't think we can turn around and change, say,
No.
ask for 16
Well,
this year.
in
Yeah.
Kingston, what I think we're gonna have to do is we're just going to, at the local level, have to do more than we thought we were going
Yeah.
to do.
And I've said in the past that I would do this, and I've not gotten to it yet because we've had other things to do. But at some point, I do want to go back and help rewrite, because it's kind of all patchwork together. So we need somebody to do the really technical stuff. but I can help with a lot of the community stuff and the demographic information and even some of the economic information and some of the writing to offset some of the
And,
cost.
and in deference to Brentwood, we have a lot of community attitude information that Kingston doesn't have. Because we've done 2 full surveys.
Mhm.
Or 3,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, and none of that exists there, and that was part of the RFP.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there is some, there is, well, it's not really
We have a
apples to
lot.
apples.
Yeah, okay. I think this is a make-do situation unless something
I mean,
changes.
this also says every 5 to 10 years, so I mean,
Yeah.
if you did it out a little longer, then you
Yeah.
might start to
Well, this-
approach the numbers you're talking about.
The statute says 5 to 10, so that's why that's there.
Yeah.
And honestly, we already have the housing chapter,
Mhm.
and we have the transportation chapter.
Transportation,
That's easily, that's honestly easily 15 or 20 grand
yeah,
worth of work.
that just maybe needs
So if we take
minor
that off the 80,
updating.
we're much closer to where we're talking about.
So that's better.
That's better.
Okay.
That's
All is not lost.
Can-do attitude, we can do
Yeah.
it.
It's just part of it, parts of our master plan haven't been updated since the 80s.
Some of the
Yeah,
land
But some of them,
stuff,
remember, natural resources.
they don't
it
change.
They never
doesn't
change.
Yeah.
They don't
It
change.
doesn't change. That we did a natural heritage inventory. It's been about 8 years now, but still, that doesn't change.
Mm.
Yeah,
All that changes is the element of it about conserved land, adding
yeah,
whatever new conserved land there is.
yeah.
And PFAS.
And PFAS.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I just, yeah. Getting
buzzword.
punched. I'm getting punchy.
Getting punchy
Yeah.
this time of the
It's
night.
early for getting punchy. Okay. All right, thank you, everybody.
not for me.
Next item.
The week's so
um,
long.
So this is always interesting when writing ordinances, is how do you write them in a way that encourages people to follow the spirit of the regulation and not find a way to creatively do something different. So we have our draft ADU ordinance, and there's been a little discussion about, do we need something else that says, makes it clear that the ADU must appear subordinate to the home. Whether, that's height, it's total footprint, but you shouldn't have a house and an ADU that's physically, even, forget how you're counting living space, but the building itself is twice as big as the original home. That's not in the spirit of the ADU law or ordinance.
And we have examples of that.
And we have examples. And I understand that we can't legislate appearance if we're not legislating it on the primary home. But if we talk about the two in relation to one another, we can say the primary home needs to be whatever the opposite of subordinate is. Primary. And the ADU needs to appear subordinate. And that we measure that by height and footprint and anything, I don't know, just, yeah.
So, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit in terms of like the purpose and objectives. I remember we had a fairly long conversation about like retaining neighborhood character and single-family appearance of properties in Brentwood. I think that personally, when you're talking about the spirit of some piece of legislation, like the legislative intent is a good opportunity to kind of spell out and a lot of courts look at legislative intent when
Yeah.
evaluating the constitutionality of bills and things like that. And so, obviously I, want to hear what the rest of the group has to say, but I'm kind of the opinion that the purpose and objectives, it's kind of like our legislative intent section where we can spell out what the spirit of the ordinance really
Yeah.
is.
I think the other thing about having something specific like height is to give whoever is approving these guidance, because it's not coming to us. And I don't know how, do you know what we're talking about? The example?
Is
Well-
it
No,
Oh,
this is
oh,
new.
okay.
This is new.
Okay.
She
Okay.
doesn't-
I don't have
she's not-
anything to do with
She's
this.
not impacted by this one
Okay.
at all.
Well,
I-
I did see it on my weekend hike last week.
I'm not sure I'm
But
familiar then, no.
it's like a 3-car garage with
Oh.
a thing over it next to a ranch house.
So the ADU is the 3-car garage and the unit above. Oh,
Not,
wow.
non-attached.
And it
So
seems
just to-
physically larger than the primary.
Uh-huh.
Just to play devil's advocate, what is the regulation that governs the height of a house?
We're just saying it's in relation to the.
No? What is the regulation that
I mean,
governs the
was it
height of the
30
house?
30 feet.
Okay, so you're gonna make another regulations that's contrary to the regulations that govern the house.
What's
We're,
below?
we're predicating the look of the ADU
Mhm.
on the look of the house.
Right, but what does House Bill 577 state?
Says you can't do it if you don't do it for the house.
For the primary dwelling.
We're
Mhm.
saying the.
In this instance, we're saying, oh, we're looking at the primary house.
Mhm.
And we're saying the ADU can't be taller than it.
Mm-hmm. So you're worried about the height of an ADU when you can
This
build
all
Well, that's-
works for me, right up until I think about the fact
20
that
barns.
What I want is to see barns converted.
Probably a good.
Right, but
And
we
the
all,
barns are
but
often
we also have
bigger.
a variance process, and somebody can come in and say, I have an existing building, and I'd like to convert it, and to me, that's perfectly reasonable, but.
But when they do that, our ordinance doesn't allow them to consume that whole barn. It says you can have an ADU in that barn,
Right,
but you still can't have more than the square footage.
can't have
we
a
allow.
4,000
Right.
foot,
You
yeah.
can put 10 barns on your property.
And
But
you-
that one that has someone living in it, that's the one that bothers you?
It's where it
that's the
falls
one?
apart for me. It's where
I don't
this
know
falls
how-
apart for me.
But okay, this recent thing, I think is what people, me, are concerned about, how this rule could be abused. It's not the intent of the ADU law or our ordinance to build a house that's bigger than the house that's already in the property.
I think,
You haven't,
well, I think,
Haven't.
because it's a garage. It's a 3-car garage.
right, but I think what we represented to townspeople, I don't think, to begin with, the townspeople are overwhelmingly in favor of the ADU, but we realize that's state law. So we said to townspeople, hey, look, this is state law, we have to conform to it. We all realize that affordable housing is a big issue, certainly in Brentwood. And we're going to propose an ordinance that conforms to state law, but also protects in appearance, will give you something that will fit within the community. And I think we're thinking of that as size. And I think it's fine for us to talk about the first ADU that was built this year in Brentwood, because I'm not saying that I'm saying that I have no complaint with what the building inspector did and the selectmen did in signing the permit. Apparently, they felt that meets the letter of the law, and I think Mark and Glenn were involved in
Yeah, I
passing
looked at it.
passing
The-
judgment on that.
The building plan meets our law.
Well, it says 916 square feet, I believe, is the square footage of the building, of the ADU.
The living
Much
area.
larger structure
Right.
around
Around
it.
it, yeah.
I'm
Correct.
thinking maybe we need to go back and look at the 1,300 square feet. Now, we all had that discussion about the number of square feet. We all affirmed that the 1,300 seemed to be the way we wanted to address it in terms of our draft language. Paul came up with a figure. I'm not saying that he pulled it out of his, but I don't think we really put the research into
Out of his
it.
BUD.
Well,
yeah.
all the research you need to do is look at the floor plan that I sent you
Yes.
and then add another bedroom to that. If the intent of an ADU is up to 2 bedrooms and the square footage that you're gonna allow should allow for 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, well, here's something I just pulled off the internet, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a work session here in the next week or 2 weeks before we finalize our language that we're going to offer for public hearing. And this is just something from the National Builders Association. It speaks to different 2-bedroom units and what the square footage are. Gives, it says a small one, a medium-sized one, and a large one.
Yeah.
They call a large and spacious something in the 1,200 to 1,300 square foot range.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, we want to be as reasonable as possible in terms of accommodating a young family. That's one of the things we talked about. But I think that people are going to I wouldn't use the term screwed over, because my mother would be mad at me, but I'll say, I think the people might feel they were misled if they start to see ADUs of the size of this one on Old Gordon Road that seemingly dwarfs the size of the primary residence. So I guess, and Kristen brought this up, had a concern that I didn't relate to immediately several months ago when she talked about somebody building a 6-car garage on their property. And I said, no, hey, that's never going to happen. But somebody could propose a 900 square foot or a 1,300 square foot ADU that incorporate that onto a 3,500 square foot building and say, well, the extra space is just storage space. Now, also in that document that I just printed off, and everybody can read that or investigate that on their own before our work session, but it also talks about storage space, and it says typically, according to National Home Building Standards, I think it's an 8 by 10 foot storage space is appropriate for a 2-bedroom apartment. And so I guess like bottom line is I think we just need to stop and think this thing through a little bit so we don't propose something and lead townspeople to think of it as how we all thought about it, I think, initially when we talked about an ADU. But then
I mean, it's a feeling. So I do want to look at this more, but 1,300 square, it's my bias. I grew up in an 1,100 square foot house with 4 people. And we're talking about ADUs that are supposed to be, attached or next to a primary dwelling. And so it does seem large, and I don't know I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like we should try to address it.
So we start with the facts, Glenn. So is the state law minimum is, and Doug probably knows, is it 950 is the minimum now, or the maximum?
960.
No, the state law says the state law says that a town can say 950 is the maximum. The state law says you don't have to.
Right.
Correct.
Any town that wants to make it larger than 950 can.
But you can't make it more restrictive.
Correct.
Correct. So I'm thinking, again, looking at the case example that we have, and nothing to do with the owners of the property. They did everything correctly. They applied for the permit. They received their permit. They built the structure. But we all can go by and take a look and see what that looks like. It's an excellent example. And just to realize that that's 916 square feet. Think if they were allowed 1,300 square feet, how much larger beyond that?
Would it have been, or would they just not have had storage space?
Well, that's it. So I wonder if we can't just simply say that the ADU will be a maximum of 1,300 square feet, or I think it should be more like 1,100 or 1,150.
Yeah, but your house, see, that's why that ordinance says 50% of the square footage of the existing house. Whatever that works out to be. Up to.
So that brings up,
Up
that
to
brings up
1,300
another
square feet.
concern. In our existing ordinance in our book,
A third.
Whichever is less.
it refers to the square footage
Yes.
being the living, quote, living area, unquote, of the existing house. In order to get the size of the building this present one has, are they incorporating the garage in the
Yes.
basement? Because in our new proposed language, we don't say living space, we just say 50% of the square footage of the house. So when people interpret that, and that's why we have to tighten this thing up, people interpret that to be a 2-car garage attached to a house, would it be a basement?
The living space is living. I included the tax card in that email for the existing house.
Yep.
Okay.
And I figured the square
I
footage
even did the math, I didn't.
on that.
Get into this thing.
It was there.
But-
Right,
But
but
yes,
that was
that-
not the standard that this one was judged to.
No,
So,
because it doesn't fit.
Right, well, the state law is what this particular one was judged on, to the
It's-
state law.
The living space.
Yes, the living space, I didn't send that in color, but you can see the totals were added up. It's only 900 and something of living space
but is there more?
in the structure that was built. Now, there is a large area for storage, okay? You can do that. You can have space for
Well,
storage.
you're saying that, but where is that noted in our regs? it says you can have unlimited storage space. Could I build,
Well, you can have a garage.
Where is it not?
Where is it not?
We're saying you can do it in a barn. A barn is going to have all sorts of excessive space if you're converting only, if you're allowed to convert only either
Okay.
950
Well, maybe I'm
or
not being clear.
1,300 square
in
feet.
our existing ordinance, it reads that the square footage of the existing home, which you have to calculate, is the living space. And so we determined over the last few years, that's a warm, heated space where people would live. In our new proposed ordinance, we don't use that phrase living space. We just say the square footage of the primary residence. I think we omitted that in the draft of this language.
We can.
Is
we
our
can fix
intent
that.
to give an incentive for people to build, though, the ADU? I'm a little confused.
Well-
It sounds like we're trying to be as restrictive as we possibly
We
can.
are arguing about the danger of 400 square feet of additional living space.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm getting from this.
That's what we're doing.
Which
We're
seems to
arguing
me
about-
absurd.
I could, Doug, I could not agree with you more.
But
Well, I paid you
Yes.
$5.
back to
But
Bruce's
it would
point
not be
about
so
what
offensive.
we've presented to people in the open house and things like that, and the pictures that we've shown them and everything, that is not what we've represented as an ADU.
No,
And I
but through our
understand maybe the
discussion, we
law
have grown.
allows that. What's up?
But through our discussion, we have grown to be at this point now. We have not, we didn't initially go out that way. We weren't quite sure what type of feedback we were gonna get.
If that three-car garage is next to that ADU, I don't even think we'd be having this discussion.
Yeah, it seems like the issue is the height. Like if you took that ADU off the top of the garage, put it out in the back, it would be a
ADU.
appropriate. I don't think we can prevent people from building ADUs on top of garages. Like I think in this case, I read one of the emails. It made more economic sense for the homeowner.
Well, yeah,
course it
it
does.
saved them
Yeah.
money.
I don't want to tie people's hands.
No.
I mean, I don't think we can. I get it. Like maybe it's not our favorite look. I don't think there's anything we can really do about it. If someone has a ranch and they have a garage, they have
And-
the right to do this.
And a lot of folks may prefer doing that rather than having an additional structure that may like obstruct their backyard or something like that. And so for some folks, it may be a more appealing option to if you have an existing structure.
Maybe we can provide design guidelines or recommendations to make it look more
It's a recommendation.
rural
It doesn't have teeth to
character.
it.
I don't
mean,
know.
I guess what you're saying is you think that the townspeople are going to accept the fact that they're going to see basically two homes on every lot, two.
I think if we took a picture of this example and put it next to people when they voted, they would vote no.
Right.
That may be incorrect. it
No,
may
I don't
be-
disagree with you. I think you're correct, but I think what we're trying to accomplish, we're just beating ourselves up.
Well, let's go back, because I'm a little slow. So let's take the case of the home that's being built now, or the ADU that's being built now. It sits adjacent to a primary residence. Now, they came in under our existing town code and applied for a ADU that would be not more than 50% of the gross floor area of the primary residence.
No.
That's the proposed.
You have to come, state law has already been enacted. So read House Bill 577. Those were the standards that had to be met by this particular applicant.
Well, the standard would be that they could have up to 975, well, the town, depends on what the town.
900, House Bill 577 states.
House Bill 577, when it became law for the entire state. So the size, the maximum size of an ADU could be 950 feet.
Regardless of what the primary,
Yes, absolutely.
Didn't mention the primary dwelling at all.
Regardless of what the primary dwelling unit is, an ADU can be 950 feet in size. And can be more if your town lets it. Because 950 feet, by the way, isn't really big.
No,
No.
It's pretty friggin' small. When I think of my daughter who has 1,000 square foot apartment in Exeter, I would go crazy at 1,000 square feet. And it wouldn't take very long. It might take a month. And I would be stark raving crazy.
You're making me feel really old because it's making me want to say,
You are really old. I grew up in a very small house.
And that was a
But
compliment.
I live in a much different house now. And humans, Americans especially, live in much different houses now.
Yes.
It's been many decades since
Outside of
a
cities.
standard family in America lived in 1,100 square feet.
Although, in places like Portsmouth, they're going in the other direction. I mean, they're selling tiny, tiny places for a lot of money, and people are buying them. So
People are buying
people
them.
are also living in smaller spaces.
All right,
I don't know what the answer is.
Let me start my argument about the square footage of the existing house. So we come up and we say 1,300 square feet. We go through with that. And provided townspeople vote for the 1,300 square feet.
It's 1,300 or 50% of the
Right.
primary,
As
whichever
written.
whichever
I
is
thought
lesser.
you were just speaking a minute ago that was thrown out.
Until we pass an ordinance, that's
Our
what the state law
right.
says.
Without us doing any changes, the standards in the state ordinance have to apply. And that means that the largest one can be is 950 feet. And that has nothing to do with the existing unit on the site. State law just says ADUs can be 950 square feet. And they don't care if you're living in a 650 square foot trailer.
Okay, so all right, so I follow that. So we say 950 square feet. Let's take it, say for a second, you say 950 square feet. Can you build 3,000 square feet and then show them your plot plan or in your design plans that your ADU is 1,300 square feet, but you have another 1,700 square feet beside it that we just call storage?
Yes, I don't see why you can't do that. What in the law says you can't do that? We have a
If you meet the
regulation
requirements.
for a dwelling unit, and that dwelling unit can only, you have to prove that your living space, your ADU, is a certain size.
And the law says living space? That doesn't, but that's not the law itself. Conditioned space that has electricity, a roof.
Bruce's concern is that if you're doing an ADU, that whatever structure that is can have no other purpose. And I think that that's unconstitutional. I don't think you can say you can't have a larger structure that you own and you build on your property to all the building setbacks, and a smaller portion of that is an ADU.
But to be realistic, I'm going to use an example from a wealthy suburb of Boston that has a limit on finished square footage. And what people do is they build the house and they don't finish the third floor until the building inspector goes away, and then they finish the third floor. And I think that's, when you see something built like that, where you have a structure that looks like a house, and half of it is currently storage, what is that going to be in 5 or 10 years?
I don't think you can control that.
Yeah.
No, and
You could say that they violate the ordinance, they get a cease and desist, but as I was saying to somebody the other day, from 40 years on town boards, the Board of Selectmen, the town in general, doesn't want to appropriate the money to fight it through Superior Court.
Right. And you don't want to be spending taxpayer money all the time trying to determine whether or not somebody has a 1,300 square foot ADU or a 1,500.
Well, that's it, because what they have to do,
Square foot
in
ADU.
keeping with Kristen's comment there, they'll build it to the square footage that's allowed by the permit. And then you come in with a sledgehammer, right? It doesn't take too long to knock that wall out and double or dramatic.
Or you put up a wall on one of the 3 garage sections and take down one of the doors and put a screen up and call it a screen house
And I guess maybe
or a garage.
this may be where we are. I just would like townspeople to be fully aware that what they're really going to see is not this little, in the old days, it's inappropriate, we used to call it a mother-in-law apartment.
Yep.
But that's no longer what it is. It's 2 palaces on every lot now. And certainly the marketplace and economics are gonna drive developers to come in and build 2 lots.
I haven't seen this one, but I think Palace is a stretch. It's a garage.
When was a 1,300 square foot anything called a palace?
Well, no, but
Where's-
again,
where's the
again,
picture?
Follow me, that the townspeople think that they're going to see a subordinate apartment.
A cottage.
Living space.
Well, how do you know what they're expecting to see?
That's what we
what are
presented
you
to
going-
them.
Well,
That's
No,
what we
we've-
showed
we've told them
pictures
that
of.
I think it almost every time we've spoken about this publicly, we have talked about the fact that it could be a converted barn.
That,
Yes.
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 Well, if it can be a converted barn, can't it be a constructed barn? And if that's not the case, then someone's going to build a barn one year and then they're going to put an ADU in the second year.
Convert it.
Because that's also allowed.
So if I could just comment on this quickly, because I think that so, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. I don't think that we're necessarily going to be able to plan for every single potential outcome.
But that's one big one that's gonna stand out. So if I were a developer, I'd come in with a subdivision, buying a couple lots, and I'm gonna build 2, put the foundations in, do all the grading, utilities, everything is gonna be done at once.
Well, the state law says
Right.
you can absolutely build your ADU at the time you're building your structure.
They included that in a bill.
That's
At
something
least they'll look
practical.
nice.
But we've always been in Brentwood for as many years as all of us can remember, we've had 1 house on 1 lot. So effectively, you can call it anything you want, but we're now going to basically 2
Yes,
lots.
that's why many of us didn't like the legislation to begin with.
Maybe that's
But
why the
what
state
we
did it.
have.
But I'm
That's
wondering,
what we have.
I'm wondering if Laura Morgan could help us somewhat, maybe more clearly state the intent. The other thing we don't have, we might as well look at this practically. We all talk about builder's remedies and what would happen if Brentwood doesn't pass more, or allow more.
That's the key.
Okay, that's the key, but what that doesn't involve, we gotta be, all can speak to this. And I'm gonna speak to how I think it means. You don't just run down to the county courthouse when the judge is on lunch break and say, hey, I've got this, I want a permit for a ADU, the town will give it to me, please sign off. Well, that's not how it works. Somebody's gonna have to go file to Superior Court, spend a considerable amount of money, and it's gonna be a process. And the town's rebuttal to the court can be that, hey, we're all for accessory use. We realize we need it. It's long overdue, but we're trying to maintain what people want. They want their more rural look. We don't want 2 full-size houses on every lot. And this is like a Trojan horse, because this is practically going to be, at least for developers constructing new properties. They're gonna come in with a bare lot, and they're gonna build out as much square footage as they can, because it's gonna pay off. It's gonna be a good, viable investment, economic investment.
And
The first time, Bruce, I've heard you take the defense position to a builder's remedy.
Exactly.
You're
Well,
usually always on the other
yeah,
side.
well, I mean,
But
I think-
he left out one extremely important point. We will be dumping tens and tens of thousands of dollars to Mitchell Group, so to defend that.
Well, let's
Not only they are going to dump money, but the town of Brentwood is going to
let's
dump
not
money
jump
as well.
6 steps ahead. Let's take the first step and contact Laura Morgan and say, this is a concern we have. We just feel that townspeople are very accepting, be understanding to a certain degree, but how can we put a lasso around having just basically two homes on every lot?
House Bill 577 is very clear.
Yeah.
I really don't need Laura to spend $1,000 with Laura to tell me how to decipher that.
So
It is very clear.
But there have been proposals, right? There were proposals to say you can't have a 2-acre, and other communities have done this. You can't have a 2-acre minimum. You will have a 1-acre minimum, and that's not what they did. They didn't say everybody has to have smaller lots.
No, they did
The
municipal water
name
and
of the
sewer.
law is accessory dwelling unit. It's not 2 houses on every lot or 1-acre lot. So the intent of the law is still accessory dwellings. And I don't know how you, and that's where I think, you know, we have some ground to stand on to say, you can't just build a second house. It's subordinate.
That's
But-
what, that's supposed to be 50% of the house,
But Old
your
Gordon
original house.
Road isn't a second house. You may be offended by its size, but it's 3 garage bays that make that big to you.
Yeah.
Well, what if the next guy wanted 6 bays, Glenn?
What if they did?
God bless them.
What-
God
Well,
bless
there's
them.
still like, are we looking at soils and septic and all that good stuff? I mean, there's still some constraints
Yes,
based on the
based on every
property.
single lot.
But
Doesn't pertain to the ADU.
If your
yeah.
concern is the townspeople not supporting this, then our best option is to not go with anything larger than what the state says.
I was just gonna make that.
And say, we're
Exactly.
just say 950 square feet, so we can honestly say at public hearing, we're doing exactly what the state law says.
Why
If
why
somebody
waste your
wants
time at that
something
point?
different,
All
they
you have
go
to
for
do
a
is put,
variance.
we adopt House Bill 577
Yep.
for your ADU ordinance.
But
Why don't-
the idea was to allow, something
it.
that was more flexible.
yeah,
Right, for the other
Yeah.
families,
that
sort of
that
thing.
wa- that was what I was hoping. What I
I
Yeah.
just don't see why we have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean,
Why don't we
but
just see
but
what
we're
happens?
talking just to keep things in perspective. Like we're talking about what, like 400 square.
The state law stands whether our ordinance passes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so
You might be surprised. People might-
given that House Bill 577 is the law currently, what we're really talking about is about 400 square feet of difference. And I'm skeptical of the idea that that is such a deal breaker for a large portion of people. I could be wrong, but I'm skeptical of that. It's not that much. I mean, am I crazy? I don't think it's that much more.
There's-
You are not crazy.
I don't know.
Visually-
Vote.
I think when they vote on this, that the common person is not going to visualize Old Gordon Road. They're gonna visualize, a
Their
smaller
own
home, and that's what they're gonna
their own
vote on, I
situation.
believe.
Well, and that's my whole point. I
Yeah.
think that's what we've been talking to people over the last 4 or 5 years about. And that's what, until this came along, that's what I conceived, I mean, I built one on my home, and it's just a small 850 square feet. And that whole idea of the accessory, I guess we should kind of strike the word accessory, because it's really not accessory.
What about this? So if we go in there in town meeting with what we have right now, which is 1,300 something square feet or 50%, if we get the sense from the room that it's not going well, we can amend it.
No, this is a ballot question, sir.
Well, public hear, when we have a hearing.
Oh, when you have a public hearing,
Yeah.
yes.
But
We're talking about discussions at public hearing.
This
I-
is on the ballot. It's not a town meeting, so.
Yeah, it's gotta be voted on.
I got confused with this and had this conversation with
Yeah,
Glenn
zoning
just the other day.
ordinances Get voted upon on election day.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I've,
They're
Oh.
not at town meeting.
honestly, I'm a no right now on 1,300 square feet.
You are.
I don't
So,
know. And I think that.
I mean, we'll
again,
keep
it's-
talking about it, but that's where I'm at
it's
the moment.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that
Yeah.
you would see
I'm
something like that and that would completely flip how you felt about it.
I've
Because
had
what you-
doubts about the 1,300 the whole
Mhm.
time, but I was kind of reading the room, but
Yeah, but you're gonna,
there is a difference between having, you guys have heard me joke about this for 5 years. There's a difference between having 2 houses on one lot and having a house and an accessory.
but you do realize that particular lot.
And I do think 400 square feet can be that visual difference between a second house and an accessory dwelling unit.
You do realize the lot in question didn't fall under this legislation. Meaning, we didn't, the 50% never took effect. Okay? So if 50% of the existing house, that's why I included that tax card. I wanted you to see the relationship between the two and understand that. That if 50% of the original house that's there was implemented over here, it wouldn't be that big. That's why I gave you all that information, okay?
Although, he could have done the exact same thing and just increased the storage space.
Right, that's what we
Yes.
should be able, as a town, to have a handle on storage space.
But if you actually look at something
To the use of the,
that's comfortable for a two-bedroom, that's your storage space in that design that I sent. It's really, if you actually want an ADU to be built that has 2 bedrooms in it, then 1,300 square feet is probably about right where you need to be. Now, remember, when someone builds one that big, they're gonna have to have a house that's 2,600 square feet.
Or finish a basement and the house does not appear as large.
Thank you, negative Nancy.
Yeah.
You can't,
But-
you can't legislate under the expectation that everybody is going to do something that is wrong and manipulative.
I hate the
You-
word transparent, but as we go out and talk to groups, we're talking about going out,
Yep.
we'll have a public hearing.
Yep.
We're also talking about going out to visit various groups around town, and I think it's a great thing. But I, for one, would be very transparent with them when they start talking about the size and asking questions about the subordinate aspect of it, to say, well, that's our intent. But practically, you can have 2, what you consider full-size homes to the average Brentwood resident on that lot. That's what you're accepting when you're voting yes.
I mean,
Up
do we
to-
think a lot of people are gonna wanna spend the money to have these excessive storage spaces? I just.
Well, because they won't, they will. I'm saying yes, they will, because if I were a developer starting with a new subdivision, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna build these 2 huge foundations. I'm going to say half of one is storage space, until I hire Brett to come over with his Sawzall and take out a number of 2x4 studs and put up some new sheetrock.
And why are we even bothering with putting this forward at all? Someone should probably make a motion to whatever they want.
Well,
And-
no, I think it's important that the board, under all circumstances, agree on
Yeah.
where we are.
I
on
think
this.
that's important.
100%.
Because if we don't, and we're divided here, what's going to happen is the people we want to capture
Right.
are-
They're
are
going
gonna
to
look
be
at that
s- Well, they're gonna be
vote.
slowly dissolved
Exactly,
by the people on the board that they know that are against the proposal.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So I go back to, I think you guys should go with 950
Yep,
square feet
Yep.
and be able to say with all honesty that you are following the state law. And I wouldn't shirk it. Make it very clear. What happened on Old Gordon Road is legal.
Yes.
Now, how often is a large garage like that going to be on a property with a small ranch? Is unusual, because the owner of that small ranch is now a very wealthy person,
Hmm.
as opposed to when it was built by someone who wasn't a very wealthy person.
Correct.
What will happen is what happened just a couple months ago when you advocated the Board of Selectmen, Mark, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You switched to the house over on 111A on the west side. You switched the primary and the ADU.
No. We cannot take that example
different
and,
things.
and apply it anywhere
Well,
but where it
but
belongs.
happened. I mean, practically, that's what
No,
happened.
I'm not
I'm
not
talking
gonna
legally.
entertain that. I'm
No,
not
I
gonna
don't-
Yeah,
entertain that.
I
I'm not
don't
gonna
think we
agree
should
with
get
that.
into that.
It's not a fair example, and it's, at all.
That's not what happened.
It's not what happened at all.
So,
Do we
do you
say
guys
that-
want to do you want to have a, think about this, let it brew? For the last couple of years, I've been very proud that we've agreed on things and and I'm sorry that I'm breaking our streak here, but do you want to stew on this and have a work session next week?
Yeah, I think
Before we
that'd
have a
be a great
hearing.
idea, but I don't think you should feel bad. I think what you say is
I'm just,
legitimate,
I
and we
feel.
have an
Accustomed
out.
to it.
We have an out for this.
Yeah, my only,
I think she's
um,
jaded.
my only comments about that are, we're getting very close to when we have to have these
Yeah.
public hearings.
Yep.
I
And
thought this was locked down.
there's a lot of work that Mark and I have to do
Oh.
to comply with the legal noticing. Because we're changing zoning districts, we're going to have to do mailings individually to property owners that we don't usually have to do with zoning amendments. So we need to have our ducks in a row. We can hold hearings. If we make a decision about what we're doing here, we can hold a hearing at the second hearing in December, and we could hold 2 in January. We could hold 3, but that pushes hard on the town clerk
yeah.
and the town
Well,
report.
I think the problem is January, I don't think we
Didn't you
can hold
cancel
2 in January because of the deadlines. And when,
The first is a Thursday.
yeah. So,
Killing me.
so we
January
can,
1st is a Thursday?
Yep.
yeah.
Are
so-
you kidding me?
So
So we
we
have to hold a hearing on New Year's Day?
Yes,
We'll have it the day before, after
absolutely.
we just notice it properly and make it any day.
I mean,
before.
so we can have a hearing on an off week, so we could have it the
We're gonna have.
8th.
Right.
Yeah,
The
okay.
8th, they have to be 2 weeks apart, so it's the 8th then, 14 is the 22nd.
Even that, yeah, not too
I
late.
guess my last comment on this would be that all these zoning ordinances are fluid, they can be changed every year, no problem at all.
Correct.
So I would be part of the, maybe, I don't know if it'd be the majority or the minority, to say that if we went with a 950 square feet, I, just as one person, would say 950 would be what I would advocate for us putting up this year. It can be changed up, because I think that sets out some sort of intent. We're talking about intent here, and there's really no way to get a handle on intent. But that's one possible way of trying to show that we're not looking for.
And there's
it
still,
says
and there's
we're
still
all-
variances, so if somebody
Yep.
has that, you know, that barn, that unique need, that, you know, I want to go to $9.99, whatever, like, there's a remedy for that, but we are saying, you know, this is,
but
we're
there-
sending a signal that this is supposed to be
I've
an
already had one
accessory
variance to increase that 950.
unit.
If
Well-
you,
right?
if you say 950, you can honestly say you're doing what the state is making us do.
Yep. Well, I make a recommendation,
That's
proposal that
maximum
we accept
950?
the state's
state says-
recommendation,
You have to at least allow 950.
950.
You can allow more, but not
And in the
less.
same breath, it says a town can allow more, but you can't mandate less.
You can't
So-
go below
so-
750.
Yeah, so if we adopt the
You can't go
950
below,
and
you
somebody
can't.
wants to go higher, they have to go get a variance,
You
which,
can't cap it.
It's, the 750 figure is really confusing.
Confusing.
Well,
It's
that's,
really confusing.
explain it, because I'm trying to figure
I-
out where that comes from.
I'd have to see the language to explain it.
Okay.
But it isn't saying, it isn't really saying it can't be less than 750, but it makes you feel like that's what it's saying. So that a lot of people are putting in laws that say the maximum is 950 and the minimum is 750, but it really isn't a minimum.
And that's the
you
way
read it.
ours reads, but that's the way our whole ordinance, our normal
Right, one of the
ordinance
reasons
is.
that we have to
Yeah.
change to meet state law, yes.
Can I bring
Mhm.
one thing? It might be small, but if you go to the first sheet there and go down to, 1, 2, 3, 900.004.002.003, protect stability and property values, that section, it says, protect stability and property values by ensuring that accessory dwelling units are installed only in owner-occupied houses and under such additional conditions. Shouldn't that be owner-occupied properties? Property?
Well, no, actually, that's a really good catch. Protect stability and by ensuring that accessory dwelling units are installed only in owner-occupied houses
That means it would have to be an attached.
or detached structures.
So
On
if we
an
add or detached
owner
structure.
Or
occupied.
detached
I mean,
structures.
the owner, I mean, it 900.004.004.001 says the owner of the property shall occupy one of the units, so.
One of the
we've-
two,
we've
right.
Got that,
I
but
think just
yeah,
the way it was worded, it sounded
it is
like-
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we only say they can only happen in owner-occupied houses, we're not being truthful.
Right.
So it should say owner-occupied houses or attached structures. Or detached structures, sorry. Detached structures.
So,
so should we make the recommendation? To adopt the state 577 bill to get us started? Would we
Just-
all be in
just
agreement with that?
Why not just change what you want here on our draft, and then what we'll publicize for public hearing will be exactly what you want.
Well, we could do that.
So we would be changing 900.004.004.002 to say the maximum living area of the accessory or dwelling or secondary dwelling unit shall not exceed 950 square feet, period.
Did we decide we don't have time to do another workshop to mull it over? We have to decide tonight?
No, you can. You could do one more. I can't come next week. I'm in Kingston on Thursday, Kensington on Wednesday, and in Kingston on Tuesday. And if you want to meet on Friday, I'm not coming to that.
Okay, it may be a
I-
lost cause
I
at
would,
this point.
I would come to a Monday meeting.
Well,
but
if
that's the
we're,
only-
if
Honesty is refreshing.
if we're good, and keeping in mind that we'll still have 2 public hearings and this could still change, but if folks are good with changing this now in the draft form that goes out to the public to 950,
Just to say
I'm
merely that, so
fine
you
with
can
that.
have a 1,000-foot house and a 950-foot
Yes,
ADU?
yes.
And I'm still confused on the 750. I think we all are.
I will send you an email that discusses it once I look at the language. Because the language isn't in here, so.
but wait, we're dropping the 50%?
Yes, we're dropping that. We're dropping everything except where it says, and shall be limited to a maximum of 2 bedrooms.
So just to be super clear, you're saying the state reg does not allow us to speak to the existing square footage, the square footage of the existing dwelling?
Correct. Correct.
And Steph, I'd be happy to have another meeting, just personally, everybody has their own
Yeah.
opinion. If there was some information we might have, I mean, if the board wanted to hire a legal opinion, just to express to the town council what our concerns are, and then how might we mitigate those concerns?
Well, why couldn't we just send our ordinance to council?
Okay, and that would be a reason to me to have another work session, because then we'd have some feedback.
Okay, then I don't want to vote on this until we're all in agreement.
Well, we're not voting to send it on to town meeting. All we're doing is voting to put it up for a public hearing. And that's why I think this is a
Correct.
great time to make the change to 950.
Okay, all right.
Send it on to town council. If she could read it next week, and whenever you guys want to have another work session, we can have it. Maybe we'll have some new information that will change our minds. Seems
Yeah.
at this point, we're holding to at least trying to get our intent across.
Yeah.
That's, 950 does nothing more than establish some intent.
Yeah. What do you think, Steph?
So just to make sure I understand, if we change it to 950, what we're saying is the maximum size we would allow is 950. If someone wanted something larger, they'd have to get a variance, which there's no guarantee. I mean, if I'm the only one who, I like the idea
You're not
of
the only one.
No.
allowing more
And-
flexibility.
Yeah.
I think
I'm a no on this. I think the 1,300.
I think a
is,
lot of homes in town are big, and the 1,300 figure would be less than 50%. At least 50. I just think, and like people are saying, 1,300 is what people would consider a comfortable 2-bedroom size. I understand the concern that people might build these giant structures and call half of it storage, but maybe we could look up some examples or case studies of places that have allowed detached ADUs for a while and see if that's really happening, or if that's like a fear that isn't really a real thing. I don't know
Yeah,
personally.
Maybe council would say, you don't have any authority here at all. But maybe she might come back and say, here's one way we could try to get more to what you feel your townspeople are, you could be respectful of and hold appropriately.
Yeah, I just, I do get the argument of like, well, we think the strategy is this might have better chances of passing because it aligns with the state, but I don't think it's achieving the goals we've talked about.
I will
I
tell
would
you
agree with that.
from experience that we're actually working on a place in the planning stages where it's 950 square feet for the ADU. It's gonna have a 2-car garage and a 3-season porch. It's gonna be a good-sized place, but that's what people are looking at. So, and sticking with the state minimum or maximum of 950 is still gonna be a good-sized property.
Yeah, in attached, that is kind of the spirit and intent of what I think urban voters are after, the attached, but we can't have that. So how do we try to corral that vastly larger?
Is the one you're working on, is it like a senior neighborhood or
Nope.
no?
No, it's a mother building it for her daughter.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is 950 sizable for like a single person or a couple?
Oh,
Or
950
is it,
plenty big enough for a single person.
but like if we're trying to provide options for young families where there
Right.
might be 4 people.
I
don't know, if you look-
I grew up in a
I
10
think
by 12
that's
bedroom.
where I'm
like
at.
you.
Yeah, and if you
Thinking
look at
of
like
family.
the condos in Newmarket, you know, where there's a lot of young families, those are under 1,000 square feet, and they've got, you know, a couple bedrooms, kitchen, dining room, living room. I don't know. You know, just remember where we started too, is that we had said before the state did what the state did, we were gonna add detached and we were gonna allow people to convert. And we're still doing that. So it's really coming down now to talking about the size.
I guess chiming in on that too, before the state came out with this and introduced the 950 figure, weren't we heading towards the path of following the dimensional requirements of our attached ordinance, which allows for 50%?
I think we still had a cap.
Like,
Didn't it start at a third?
The third, that's what, yeah,
Third.
third.
Not-
The attached ordinance was a
okay.
third.
I mean, maybe that could be a compromise. We go back to that, like people are used to that.
A third of a 3,000 square foot house is bingo 1,000 feet. Which is
Similar.
950.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my
Since you put it that-
opinion.
No,
I mean,
Um,
I have said for several years now, much against my brother Bruce, that the detached thing is what we have to allow for them to be, for ADUs to really be used for something other than families. Most people don't want to live in the house that strangers live in, but they'll rent something that's detached with people they don't know. So you're accomplishing that, getting it just away from being something built for a wayward son or a wayward adult parent or something, to a real rental resource. But if you make it too big, I fear for our chances of success. And people can just say, I'm gonna destroy this because the state law still holds. So no matter what we do, it's going to be 950 if we're not successful.
So why not try for the bigger one
Right.
and then
Well, what-
be
what-
stuck with the
Good
smaller
point,
one?
You want to find out how the voters actually
Change.
feel, have them vote on it.
This is so different for Brentwood residents. This is such a monstrous change. Why not start step one, like with the 950, and then, you know, if you see based on evidence that more is better, or large is better.
We're getting a lot of people coming in
Yeah, you
asking
can
for
always change it.
variances.
My ADU is just as big as the plans that I showed you. But the difference is the garage is underneath it, but it's an under garage.
So don't notice it.
You don't notice it. The second floor of my ADU is one giant attic.
Well, all I can tell you is that
So,
you're here.
Square footage
You're gonna be here
wise,
on the hot seat, Mark, because you're sitting in that office, and if things get out of control and people are just basically building 2 houses on a lot, which they seem.
no, what you are doing right now is you're sowing the seeds of fear, Bruce. That's what you're doing.
It's
And quite well, I might add.
I'm just looking.
Quite well. You're sowing the seeds of fear.
This is what happens when a developer comes and they want to make money. So they're gonna,
No,
All right, we should
you
probably.
cannot plan your legislation based
We spend
upon
a lot of time
We
on
did
all the
spend a lot of
evils
time.
in the world.
One last
You can't.
pitch. What if we went to the public hearing phase with the bigger option, and then if there's an outcry, circle back and change it to smaller?
That's kind of what I was getting at before I was corrected concerning the procedure for the zoning changes. But that's kind of what I was getting at, was that during the public hearing process, we can feel out, you know, how people are feeling about this, and we can adjust from there. I just think it's premature for us to be cutting it down to 950 when, you know, for Brentwood's economic future, we need to be creating opportunities for families, not just for single people. And so, look, I'm going to keep an open mind about it, but I think that it's a little bit premature for us to make such a significant change without, like, actual like real public input on that. Just my
Well,
opinion.
public import's important, but you could see from our sign ordinance, well, obviously, a lot of signs, 0 people showed up. So, we'll have a public hearing on this at 1,300, maybe 3 people will show up. I mean, Pat, you have to admit, this is how, you've been around town long enough.
No, I know,
to
but
understand how this works,
but
so it's not a good read on the populace. I think when you're really gonna get dumped on is voting day.
Where's, what's?
If it
the-
goes,
can we
then
do a
fine.
straw? Can we
Then
do a
let-
straw vote where people are at, 1,300 or 950?
9:50.
950,
13.
13,
13.
13.
13.
13.
So is that 4, 1, 2,
Or
3?
three.
We could wade into the
didn't see it
Facebook
today.
waters and see what people have to
Let's-
say on there.
That was the majority. Who the hell do I talk to about getting the planning board, the December 1st meeting changed? How can it be December 1st?
January 1st.
Oh, January.
1st. Who can I
Can we get
talk
the
to?
state to change the deadlines because there's no opportunity for?
Greg or to change the calendar?
You didn't know it was Thursday?
No,
You should
Yeah.
have
that
called me.
screws everything up.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so as far as tight deadlines, I think you can proceed with,
We need to have one public hearing on the 18th.
okay, I will be virtual.
December 18th?
Yes.
December 18th, okay.
Maybe we can take, let's do the zoning change, like the industrial thing. I think does anybody have any other input on that one, or are we good on that one?
We're good on that one.
Okay, so
We'd be
start with that one, because that's the one you need to send notices out for.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I say you guys can get started anytime on that one.
Let me understand this correctly. We have to send out abutters notices to everyone on North Road.
We have to count the number of properties. And if less than 100 properties are impacted, we have to send them a first-class letter.
First-class letter, which is regular mail.
Correct.
And we have to send that letter out in time for them to make a public hearing
It
on
doesn't,
December
it
18th?
doesn't say 10-day
Oh.
clear notice.
It doesn't.
No.
But still, I would like to give them that notice, sir.
We need to give them at least
A week. I would love to give them a
Right.
week,
which means we
So-
should be sending them out next week,
like next Wednesday.
next Monday or Tuesday.
Do you need help counting?
No,
No,
well,
we can do the,
one of the issues is the GIS hasn't really been updated with accurate information to property owners. So what we're gonna have to get together with Adrian, and Adrian will print us out a list of every homeowner or every property owner?
property owner.
Every property owner. Does that include Rockingham County?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though that doesn't affect them, our zoning doesn't affect them at all. Anywho's,
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we have that language locked down. Should we,
Yes, we have that language locked
do
down.
we need a vote this evening to lock that language down?
Everybody said that they were comfortable with that language.
Do you think a motion is in order for that
Yes.
language?
Yes.
okay. So we need a motion to proceed with the zoning changes,
Public hearing.
public hearing.
Will that include multifamily?
No, this is just the
this is just
industrial
District change, okay.
The district change.
district.
We're changing the northern side of North
Yeah,
Road?
northern.
The northern side of North Road from multifamily, residential, and agricultural to strictly residential agriculture.
We're changing the
And we're changing
Pine
Pine
Road.
Road to only be industrial.
north of a certain,
And we're removing industrial from 125 and 27.
because they
Now, I
can't
think
have
125,
multifamily.
we're not gonna have to, because there's more than 100 properties on that. So we're not gonna have to worry about noticing that.
I just panicked a little bit.
Don't
But,
panic.
but we will have to send out notices to everyone on Pine Road. We'll have to add up all those properties, but they're
Yeah,
large
th-
properties.
they're
They're
large
under
properties.
100.
It's like 20 people.
Yeah. they're under 100.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Oh.
Oh, Stephanie.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, people.
Okay, so that's one. Let's take another easy one.
Oh,
sorry.
Low-hanging fruit.
Actually,
There are no other easy.
my thing may be premature, so.
Okay.
yes, go.
So the workforce ordinance, I don't know if you had a chance to follow up with Mark Fougere about the draft. And my question to Mark to ask you was, if we're so far from what we thought we wanted, do we just put the old workforce housing ordinance that we had and the town voted out, do we just put that forward again?
No,
Okay.
no, we do not want to do that. We do
All
not.
right, so did you have a chance to
I
talk to
did,
him?
and we are talking, and I would love you to put this one forward as well.
Okay,
And what we will talk about is two different versions. One with that language in it and one with the language not in it. But it will require that we have a second public hearing
okay,
after we determine which way we want to go.
okay.
Because Mark hasn't convinced me of his side.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody, so can we have those versions in time for a work session? next
Oh,
week?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, are you having another work session?
I think, is everybody up for a work session next?
Yep.
What, next Thursday?
Thursday?
Next Thursday?
Is that?
Um,
Mark's like, no,
Can
you
we-
don't
Can
know.
can we go earlier? 6?
Maybe,
Yeah.
Just take
yeah,
kick
we
off.
can do that.
Thursday works. Couldn't do it the next Monday.
Can you come on a Monday?
Yeah, I could come on any Monday.
I can do a Monday.
So can folks do
The 8th?
the 8th?
I mean,
Yeah.
if you could do that, that'd be,
I already dropped out of my ballet class because of too many budget meetings and other things, so what's another?
would we be able
Okay.
to use this room on a Monday?
No.
Or would we be able to use
Wait a minute, sir. Hold on a minute.
down the hallway?
Budget
I'm thinking,
committee.
yeah.
Oh, it is budget.
I
at
mean, if
6.
budget committee is here,
Yeah.
we could meet down there, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be recorded, does it?
No. No, it's a work session.
But also, BudCom, don't they normally meet at 5?
I
Oh,
think
they're
he's at
6.
6.
Okay.
Interesting email.
Gotcha.
We could meet at 5.
I couldn't make it.
I
I get out of work. I get out of work at 5.
I usually have to pick
Kristen,
up
we
my
could
kids.
have you
Forgot
dance
about
down
those
there.
guys.
What's
You
that?
could dance down there for ballet.
I haven't really learned, I've missed so many classes, I haven't really learned anything.
I mean, if people can't make Monday,
No, it'd be, I mean, it'd be
If-
good to,
if Monday
here.
works, I'm
As long as,
more than happy.
as long as it doesn't have to be zoomed, we're good. I'm good.
There's no reason for it to be Zoom.
There isn't.
So I'm good with Monday. Is there a way we can record it? Because I think that it's really important for the public to have a chance to
They call it tape
see how the
recorders.
sausage is made, so to speak.
I think they might not want to, but
You don't think so?
I think it's gonna be confusing because we can't even agree.
Fair.
It's just gonna cause more concern and,
Ask Letty, maybe she would have some guidance on.
well,
how
there's
we
no,
could do
it's,
it.
regardless of what Letty says, it's state law is state law. And there's no mandatory requirement for filming, period.
I agree. I know it's not mandatory. I'm just saying as a best practice, but I agree it's not mandatory.
Right, but it's better to have a united front,
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
especially if you want.
we've, yeah, I mean, we've never, I know this came up recently, but we've never streamed work sessions.
No.
Because even more so than we do on a normal night, we all talk over each other,
Okay.
in a work session, so.
I don't understand.
We post the work session so
They-
anybody can come.
Yeah, anybody can.
The select board wanted all meetings streamed.
But I mean, that's not, we're on this board, and there's no state law governing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you want to do, we can have more arguments, but it's only going to lead to more, less of a chance, I think, of passing these ordinances.
Or in this instance, means you can just meet on Thursday when you can have the room.
I
You can stream it.
think it's important that
Yeah.
you're available.
That's true, yeah.
I would personally
rather
would
have you
rather be
here.
there, but
Especially since you're talking to Mark Fougere, and,
it
you know,
works- it works better.
what's gonna be legal, what does he advise?
It works better.
Okay, so Monday, December 8th at 6 PM? Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Getting into the home stretch here. Okay. All right, so the only one we haven't talked about is the commercial and residential. And I think we were pretty close on that, except there was a question about the bonus, the workforce bonus, and that not being super clear. Have you thought any more about that, or you seemed fine with what we had?
I was,
Okay,
I am.
all right.
That was the 6 and 2?
Right.
I thought
I
that
didn't
was-
totally follow the problem.
Bruce,
what
you
the
and I
problem
were
was.
talking, you didn't agree with that, right? Because
Well,
that-
I
this-
just, what I'm more concerned with is how do you explain this to townspeople? And again, I think the only way you're probably gonna reach townspeople is to go to all the different organizations and try to present there. But again, now people are in the mindset of, one dwelling per 2-acre lot. We realize that's not practical anymore.
It's also mandated that it's multifamily
Right,
now and
you've got
commercial.
multifamily. But
And
we talked about trying to come up with some kind of a plan and concept, taking a particular piece of property in town that people knew about, like maybe the parcel right across from Island Hardwoods there, the rural property. That would be, the soils there are great. It'd be probably one of the few.
I thought it was, we already had a proposal for a retail multifamily mix.
Is that
And
something?
I asked Wayne, and I think he's angry about the Tanya Lane thing. He ignored me.
Okay.
See, I think it's gonna be, if you gave us each a piece of paper and ask us to draw out what this looks like, I think you would get 8 or 9 different versions here. So when you get in front of a group, I think it's important.
Bruce, I'm not arguing with you about that at all. I think that's an important,
Yeah.
it's an important feature.
But I just think we're not ready for prime time yet, to put it in this short term.
We
But we have
have to be.
But we have to.
We have very little time, thanks to New Year's.
Maybe it takes a couple of years to get past.
Well, again, it's the state mandate, and I think we have, I think the risk on this particular one of somebody seeking a remedy in court is probably
Much higher,
pretty high,
much higher.
because there are good opportunities to develop on 125, and they have the state law on their side now.
And from the standpoint of the people, isn't our argument, look, folks, we have a mandate, but this mandate is saying that multifamily is happening in already established commercial zones. So the interior residential part of Brentwood isn't impacted by this at all.
Yeah, I think we need to think a little bit about the setbacks, because for people who are east or west of that commercial zone, that the rear of the property isn't, changing the character of things, but for those people who are in, the interior residential. Well, so is everybody comfortable with putting that forward, knowing that we're still going to have 2 hearings and it can still change, but I don't think we had too much feedback on it last time.
There wasn't.
We're good. Okay. Good with that? All right.
And
So we're gonna have a work session on Monday to keep arguing about the ADU, sorry, and and the workforce housing, to talk about what we're gonna put forward for that. But we're ready on the district changes and the commercial and residential for our first hearing without any more discussion.
And before we move on from the ordinances, first of all, I want to thank you, Chris, since I saw you sent out the signups for office hours and organizations. I don't know if this was just me, but I was trying to sign up for times. I was having trouble editing it.
I couldn't either.
You couldn't either?
Okay.
Okay. So I think you may just need to enable editing, and then we can go in and sign up for
Okay.
stuff.
Did you put it on your SharePoint? Can you do?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The
So no.
spreadsheet, the spreadsheet that I sent with all the dates and everything, can you upload that to SharePoint and make sure everybody has permission to change it?
You want me to send it out to board members?
I wouldn't count on it.
But a shared copy that we can all edit.
She sent it as an attachment. If you
Yeah.
send a link to it,
Like you do
on
with,
SharePoint,
like you
then
do with minutes.
it'll be shared. and we
I've
can
got to think about what I did with it.
I don't send you that many emails.
I have to, yes.
Thank you. Okay, so, Paul, we're not ready, obviously, but at some point, I think we should come to the select board. Do you agree?
I agree. That would be- We would love to have you.
Maybe we should
That was
wait
easy.
until January?
To talk about all the proposals?
Yeah, just kind of give a presentation, an overview of everything.
The later the better.
The later, the better. So we
I
have
would
our-
love to go to
oh.
that.
Okay.
They meet on Tuesdays,
Mm-hmm.
so I can never do the first or third Tuesdays. 'cause I'm in Kingston.
So you could do the second Tuesday of January,
Yes, I could.
which is,
13th.
lucky.
Yes, it is,
Okay.
13.
Can we get on the agenda for the January 13th select board meeting?
Do you want us all there?
Yes. Yes. I'll work on slides, and I think, we can, but I think it's good if everybody participates, and
Maybe, Mark, we could have a paper copy of that schedule.
Sorry.
Maybe for next Monday, when we have our work session, could we have a paper copy, something printed on paper for signups for the various?
Yeah, that might be easier.
We'll just pass it around.
Signups for,
I know it's not your spreadsheet. Committees and talk.
first you'd have to provide me with a list of committees that you would like to go to.
It's on there. If you were paying
It's on
attention to Crystal, she had given you that.
Okay, look,
Oh, this
Everything's
the
on.
spreadsheet that she's talking about.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you just did that.
That I was looking for while you were talking, yes.
Well, I was talking out of turn. Yeah, if we had that on paper, that would be good.
Okay.
I can help with that.
That's
I can make a
called print.
PDF or something that's easier to print.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so January 13th, 6 or 6:30?
6.
6. Select board, okay.
is it time now to address the elephant in the room? Who actually, who's not in the room?
The elephant not in the room.
Oh,
Are we, oh wait, we should vote to put the commercial and residential ordinance on the, forward to the public.
You did.
Make a motion.
No, we did the zone,
The zoning.
the
one.
district.
So moved.
Oh,
which one is this?
I know what she's talking about.
Multifamily and commercial.
Oh, okay,
We're ready
The multifamily zoning changes,
yes.
to,
ordinance changes.
to present
About a half an
those on December 18th.
And you want that one also on the
Yes.
December 18th meeting, a
Yes.
public hearing for that as well.
Yes.
Correct.
So moved.
Heart attack. Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who am I first and second?
Myself and Doug
Again?
squared. Doug squared.
Okay.
I did originally, but Doug took my spot.
Are we 110% sure that the hearing for 1 Smith Road was continued to December 4th, 2025?
100% sure.
100% sure. Okay, well, I believe the discussion we had at the last meeting was if we didn't have what we needed, we would vote to
Just and desist.
You have to deny the application?
deny the application.
I will make that motion
That motion is what exactly?
to deny the site plan.
Do we want any discussion on it before?
Oh, yeah, we can make the motion and still have a discussion.
I'll second that.
No discussion.
And usually
yeah,
when,
Yeah,
can
we
still
can
have a
discuss
discussion,
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
usually when you deny a site plan, you must state the reasons why.
The applicant was to appear
Yeah, the
before us.
applicants
and
failure
did
to
not-
appear, yeah.
I don't know, but you could just say no more. She may have to go back and look at the record and find the different dates specifically that they didn't show up when they were, or they didn't attend when they had a planned time to present to the board.
That's true.
I
This
think
is not the
tonight-
first time.
Yeah, it's not the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
time. So it'd be best to have the dates, because the ramifications of this is that they'll have to start the process all
All over again.
Yeah,
Do a butters notice.
And they're clear that, they understood clearly that they needed to
Yes.
attend.
We had the discussion in front of them that
Yeah.
if
Right.
they weren't here, this is what we were gonna do.
Okay.
And we were even extending them an extra courtesy because the meeting before, we had kind of drew a line in the sand
Mhm.
and we gave them some grace.
I mean, is
I
everything?
didn't, I voted no, but,
Yeah.
but the rest of the
No,
board
not
did.
everything's in compliance.
Is everything in compliance? They just didn't show up?
There's still comments that haven't been addressed.
Right, and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there's
Okay.
discussion that had to take place.
And they asked for
A waiver.
a waiver,
Yeah.
but they're not here to,
So, that means
Explain
they
it.
clear the lot?
I don't know if they'll clear the lot, but they've got to stop all activity on the lot.
We've been saying that one all along.
Right.
That's
yeah,
a matter of,
it's still going on.
Policing.
From what I've seen.
So,
And there is activity
so
on the
do
lot.
then, does the select board have them clear the lot?
Well, it's up to them.
Yeah.
They're the enforcement body.
Will
Did
they
they
be-
ever provide the
What
stormwater
can
management
materialize
plan?
is
They
fine
did.
at this point.
So are you waiting for any, follow up on Brett's question, are you waiting for any other additional information? I think that, there were a few comments that need to be addressed that are on your note to us tonight. One of them was to verify the landscape buffer on the northerly side, correct? That was the northerly side being the one abutting the flag property. So they need a waiver. That's one waiver that we needed to.
But it also looks like there may be some TEC comments that haven't been addressed yet.
No, what was the date of that letter?
The second, just a few days ago.
So they had ample opportunity to respond to that? I mean, maybe Brett's right, maybe we're making a little bit of a hasty decision here.
But they submitted a waiver request and they're not here to,
Address,
Ask for
speak
it.
to them.
yeah. I mean, that's just,
Again, it's gonna be.
Is there any
Good.
precedent, like, has something like this happened in the past? and
Oh, yeah.
This is what we've done?
It happens.
On November 19th, I told him that we would not talk with him until December 4th at 7 o'clock. And his response was, perfect. It's December 4th, 7 o'clock was almost 2 hours ago.
It's probably a good move if the town really plans to follow up on it.
yeah, well, I'm gonna put it on to the next agenda for Tuesday now.
But it's not just in terms of sending out a cease and desist, that's the easy part. Is the Board of Selectmen willing to go forward with a legal action in Superior Court to follow up on that?
Well, there'll be violations that will accrue at $275 a day. You know, we'll have to make
But
a collection action.
in order to get enforcement of that provision, it'll probably require court
It will just require a collection action.
collection, but I mean, you can't.
regardless, I think
Right.
our role is
We're-
to vote on,
right.
I mean, I think
Right.
We're done.
we're done.
Yeah.
We told them exactly what was gonna happen.
And when it needed to happen, and
We probably.
be there.
Yeah.
I have a motion by Mr. Marino. Do I have a duly seconded motion?
I second it.
Mr. Stevens, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right.
But you're going to vote.
We turn it to the select board now.
Yeah? No, that's it.
All right.
I can't wait. I've been waiting for a long time.
Did that hurt you to vote on that?
Why?
What do you mean, hurt me?
Should you not have voted on that since there's the potential for enforcement? I'm just asking, does that make it harder for you to act on it as a select person
He's chair, too.
But he voted in favor.
in favor of denial of the application?
Yeah,
Right.
so that's
Is
consistent.
that kind of some kind of double jeopardy if,
That's my worry.
yeah. But I guess we can make a motion to reopen this
I wonder
discussion.
if you just abstain from that vote, then they can't say that you you're prejudiced in any way?
It's probably not a bad idea.
Just take-
Okay.
take the
I mean,
question.
if you feel strongly, please vote.
You're the lawyer. Tell us.
I do wonder if that does.
He's a
I'm-
select board
hurt you some.
representative.
He is the
like,
select board representative.
his role.
He's an absolute voting member.
Yeah, I mean, and instinctively, it doesn't feel like a conflict.
Okay, then-
But if, I mean,
If you're comfortable, I think.
yeah, well, I'd always rather be more prudent,
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it could
so.
be a remand situation by Superior Court to come back and say this person voted incorrect, or done, not voted incorrectly, but voted when they shouldn't have, because they're part of, again, ongoing, the next legal step. It's like the ZBA, there's certain reasons why a member of the planning board or certain situations, a member of the planning board can serve on the ZBA and certain ones that they can't. And if it's going to be action by the planning board on a variance that the planning board member might vote on, the planning board member needs to recuse.
So maybe just to be safe, I'll make a motion to reconsider.
Second.
Sorry, Mark.
Okay, so we are voting.
But you're the best voice on the Board of Selectmen for this. That's the only reason I'm concerned.
Understood.
All in favor of denying the application?
Well, first we have to
No.
vote
Oh,
to
sorry.
vote to reconsider.
Okay, all in favor of voting to reconsider?
Aye.
Aye.
And there was a second to the vote to reconsider.
Doug, yeah, it was Doug squared again. Sorry, Mark. And
I
now,
guess I'll abstain. Okay.
Well, we
and
gotta vote first. Hold on.
and so now reconsideration having been invoked, I will remake the motion to deny the application based on failure to appear and failure to address comments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
I abstain.
All right.
I think it puts you in a better position.
Okay. Minutes.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, you got it first.
Reading them back.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who's the second? I heard Bruce.
Doug Finnan.
Any abstentions? Okay. Two questions. Did you hear anything back from Plan New Hampshire?
I haven't submitted anything. yet,
Okay,
Just, they're excited that we're interested.
okay.
But I
And,
did try to send stuff.
No,
Okay.
he did.
I
I'm
did try
the
to
bottleneck here.
give her just some background
Okay.
on what we would be asking.
okay. And Mark, did you receive any response from the letters you mailed out? From any homeowners with any questions?
No,
Is
Okay.
this the Tanya Lane
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
no, I was a little surprised that I haven't at least received one phone call, but nothing.
All right.
People are busy with holiday stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they were mostly passed out from their tax bill that they opened first.
Mhm.
And then there wasn't enough energy to reply
Nope,
to the second
nope,
letter.
just calm down.
Do we have a motion to,
Nope.
No, there's more. I got
What?
more.
what?
We have to talk about the building ordinance proposal changes. It's in your packet.
It is. The Board of Selectmen has requested that we make some changes to the building code to clarify that they will no longer be signing building permits.
The building
The
inspector.
building inspector will be signing building permits. And there won't be a secondary majority of the Board of Selectmen signing those permits. And because it's stated in the zoning ordinance, we have to change that in order to.
And this has to go to a town vote,
Yeah.
Yep.
and we need to do it this year?
And we need to hold a public hearing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so segmented and it's straightforward
You had looked at that
It's a
too.
lot.
and
It's
more
gonna be a long-
administrative.
It'll be a long ballot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
year.
long ballot. But they're two easy amendments. It's not gonna take up a lot of
Okay,
either space or mental capacity.
so can we add this to the December hearing as well?
I'll make that motion. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Up.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Anything else?
yes,
Yes.
sorry. You could have been quicker earlier. No. The select board meeting the other night, one of the select board members, Letty, had made mention while they were going over budgets in reference to our budget in particular, and I saw your email in making the adjustment. She had questioned whether or not the select board, the planning board had voted on our budget. And I couldn't recall if we had or hadn't, but I did reference that we all were in agreement with our budget.
Our original,
Our original
we did
budget.
vote on the budget that went to
Yes.
the select board. They changed
I
it.
could not find that in our minutes at any point. But,
Did, right?
no, but that's what I recall, that we did originally, and we all agreed, and that's how I approached Letty about that. But what I wasn't, I told her I wasn't quite sure whether or not we voted on the change in front of her, which we did not.
We did not. So
No.
I will say the budget that we voted on, I had asked her about the salary changes and whether it's a 52-week
Correct.
or a split, 36 and 13. She had wanted to, get more on a calendar year schedule, but the rest of the select board is not, that's not something the select board agreed to. So I had put in 52 weeks. That's what we voted on. So that's one correction, I would call that was made, that was switched to the 36 and 13 or whatever, 39 and 13. And then the other, and I would say that's the majority of the change. And then the other is they had originally said put in a 3% placeholder for increases
And you brought
for
that down
staff.
to 2.9.
Not
And
a
they
they.
changed.
Just
They-
to be clear,
What's that?
that wasn't a they. But anyways, that's, there was a mailer an email that had gone out.
To put a 3% placeholder, yeah.
Not from the select board. it
That
was
was
from an
not
individual.
something you had voted on. Okay, so,
Yeah.
so the select board settled on a 2.8.
0.8.
So that's the other change.
Okay, well,
So-
I had given her this information, or the board this information, and I didn't want to misrepresent it, and.
And
I
that's
wanted
why I wrote in the email that
Yep.
I sent, I think, to Paul, and Julie and Jim, that the board voted on, this is different than what we
Yep.
voted on.
And you're the chair, and I think you can make that decision.
And I mean, it's sort of out of our hands at this point, and they didn't make any, there was some discussion about changing some other things that they didn't ultimately change, so it's really just this kind of bigger issue, I guess, about,
That goes beyond
For-
our budget.
beyond
Yeah.
our budget about,
Well, I just want to make sure the
employee.
board was aware of the fact that I represented the board on Tuesday night without confronting anybody or saying anything.
thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for being there.
Yeah. I came to another budget hearing and then maybe it was the select board, yeah, and then
We came to BudCom and
We're
they were
all
like,
ready.
select board has to vote first.
we're all ready to defend our budget, and then they decided not to talk about it. Okay,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
In the back of your packet, I just wanted to show you the building department change of use and occupancy permit that has been changed. So, enjoy.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please turn off your microphone.
I thought she meant something else